Hey guys, Seventh here. It's been a long time, I know, that's why I'm making this. Before I get into the long story, first I've got a few things to say. First, I apologize for any ambient noise. The washing machine's going on and it's washing my work clothes for tomorrow, so I apologize for that. Secondly, I have a few thank yous. These won't make sense until after you've watched the vid, but I wanted to go ahead and get those out of the way. Special thanks to the Game Chasers, Billy and Jay. Special thanks to Wood, not only for helping to create my new channel banner and logo and a couple of other things that you're going to see here soon, but for also offering some support and some a little moving advice. And I have a fan named Brian that I want to thank. Brian helped with some things that I'm going to tell you about in a little bit, so thanks, Brian. Looking forward to seeing you soon. And who else? 8-Bit Eric. 8-Bit Eric offered a lot of support and advice through all of this, and has also offered and lended a hand in things here and there. And I'm looking forward to running into him in the near future as well. So I think that covers about everybody. If I missed anyone, you know who you are. Just send me a message on Twitter and let me know. So, for those of you who don't follow my Twitter, which is actually quite a few of my fans and followers and subscribers and what have you, you're not going to know what's gone on for the last 3 months. So this is what this video is for. It's not to explain new exciting things coming to the channel, although there are some new things coming. And it's not to explain a change in direction or any of that. And it's certainly not an e-bag or anything of that nature. Those of you who are already on my Patreon, I appreciate it, but this is not asking for other Patreon supporters. You guys know I don't do that. I give a little blurb at the end of my videos and that's all I do. So, okay, so set the Wayback Machine to November of last year. I uploaded my last 7th Halloween video on October 31st, which hardly anyone watched. So I got that video uploaded, and I decided that I was going to take a week off of video making to kind of rest up, because 7th Halloween takes a little bit out of me every year. And a few days into that week, and you guys knew I worked third shift at my job, I get a message on my phone telling me that I have to come in for an early morning meeting. This, in my history of over 20 years in IT, has usually been a bad thing. This is usually not a good sign, to say the least. Usually this means that you're walking in and you're going to be handed a pink slip. So, you know, butterflies in the stomach, worried that I'm going to get laid off. I go into this early morning meeting. And at first I thought it was a false alarm, because it seemed to be one of the usual company projection meetings and whatnot that us third shifters never went to anyway. So I was sitting there kind of wondering, why did I get invited to this? And then after most everyone else left, they wanted my department to stay. And they informed us that the Charlotte Center was being closed down, eliminated, shuttered, closed shop. And so I prepared to be presented with a severance package with, you know, my heart falling down into my feet. But instead, they said that we would be given options. And one option was, of course, taking a severance package. And since I had been there going on 5 years, the severance package was considerable. I was going to be able to go several months without having to work if I chose to walk away. But the other option was that they weren't eliminating my department, they were just consolidating it and relocating it. The Charlotte office didn't have any of our other business interests anywhere nearby it. It was just kind of in the state by itself. And so they decided they wanted all of those functions of the company moved closer to some of where a lot of their other businesses were located. And so they told me, what do you think about Texas? And I got to admit, the first thing I did was I kind of grinned, because going on about a year ago from right now, was when I discovered the Game Chasers channel and started watching them, and ended up, becoming friends with Billy, becoming friends with 8-Bit Eric, and then of course becoming friends with Wood and all those guys. And of course, with the exception of Wood, they're located and headquartered in Texas. And I thought, well, ain't that a son of a bitch? I made friends with these guys, and I've been talking to them for months about going to meet them at a con and hanging out with them at a con and whatnot. And then my company tells me that I have to move to Texas to keep my employment. Well, I did all the packing, and we did packing and all this stuff, and I started looking at how much money the company was giving me to move versus how much everything was going to cost. Texas ain't cheap, especially the town that they moved me to, which is Austin. Austin's the capital, and it's expensive as hell down here. It's a mostly Democratic city, lots of hipsters. It's considered the new Silicon Valley. Lots of IT jobs down here, shit ton of IT jobs. The guy that came out and installed my internet when I moved down here, he's just a guy that goes out and installs modems, and he makes 6 figures. 6 figures to install cable modems. I was flabbergasted. But anyway, it's not cheap to live here. The gas is cheaper. The utilities, the electricity can be more expensive because of the summer heat, but for the most part, the utilities are cheaper. And the groceries are cheaper, but the rent is a lot higher. In Charlotte, I was paying almost $800 a month for a mortgage. I'm renting this house, and it's $1,350. Now, it is a bigger house. It's not that much bigger, but it has a garage, and all the bedrooms are bigger, which Eighth is thrilled about that, because he was starting to run out of room in his room, which, was fine when he was 5, but now he's 14. So, yeah, pretty pricey. Every moving company I was looking at was $3,500. So eventually I just went to this site where I put in what I needed, when the moving date was, how much stuff I had and whatnot, and it would send all my information out to these moving companies, and they would all make me offers, and then I would pick what I thought was the best offer. Well, there was a company that contacted me that undercut everyone else by about $1,200. It was a company called Top Rate Moving out of Miami, Florida. For those of you who are ever considering a move, remember that name, Top Rate Moving, but not in a good way. They came and they packed all my stuff up, and they said, we'll see you down there on such and such a date. So we came down, and the electricity hadn't been turned on when it was supposed to be. So we ended up having to stay in a hotel outside of Austin for another 2 days more. So that was another couple of $100 more than what I anticipated having to spend. And then we move into the house, and the electric bill was also higher because it required basically a $300 deposit, which I wasn't expecting. So that was another expense. I'm not even going to get into what the deposit on this house was. Suffice it to say, it was not a cheap deposit by any means. But anyway, the movers show up, and I guess first I should say that I love the house. I really love it. I've never liked having a house with 2 floors. It's a pain in the ass to keep clean. Got a house that's all on 1 floor. It's got a nice big open living room. Over here, which I will eventually let you see it when everything is set up, is where I've designated to be my retro gaming space, and directly across from me there's a fireplace right here, and this is where my big TV is going to be. And then of course back behind me you got the kitchen. Over here you got 2 bedrooms. Back there is the laundry room, the garage, and my master bedroom. So, moving company arrives. They start to unload things. And the first thing I notice is that out of my 8 media shelves that my collection sits on, not including the 2 big ones that held my consoles, only one of them is still in one piece. Just one. All my other shelves have been torn to pieces. And literally the chunks stacked and rolled up with tape. And I'm looking at this, and the guy that's delivering it said, well, this is the way we found it in the storage warehouse. We didn't do this. This is what it was like when we picked it up. And I think, well, you know, $200 a shelf. You know, we'll do our best to salvage what we can, and we'll buy those when we can afford it. Then they bring out my washer and dryer. On both the washer and the dryer, the tops of them are smashed in, as in the control panels. They're dented down in, and the buttons have been sliced off, as in the plastic that was holding the button in to where it connects to the switch is sliced, almost like with a knife. So here's, you know, broken washer, broken dryer. And again, they tell me, well, this is the way we found them. I was like, okay. They bring our recliners in, and there was, now I'll say this, I wanted to save on moving costs, and so there were some things that we didn't bring. The frames to our beds, like the headboard and the footboard, we didn't bring those. We just brought the mattresses and figured that we could just go out and for 65 bucks a piece buy a bed frame, and that would both give us more room in the bedrooms, and it would be less stuff to have to carry. We didn't bring our dinette set because we hardly ever used it for anything but making videos anyway. Most of the time when we ate, we'd sit down in the recliners and watch a movie while we ate. So we didn't bring that. Plus it was made of glass, so we were afraid it was going to break. And then the 2 big wooden shelves that held my consoles, we didn't bring those down because they were really, really old and weren't really meant for what I was using them for, and they were damaged. So we didn't even think those would make the move, so we didn't bring those. We got to the washer dryer was damaged, and I was like, okay. So they bring the powered recliners out, the ones that, you know, had the lights on them and everything that I showed a while back. And one of them, the power cable for it was completely missing, and wouldn't have done any good if we did have it, because the plug where that adapter plugged in had been shoved up inside the chair, so there was nothing to plug the port into anyway. The other one, it seems like was almost damaged in the same way, because it sometimes works and sometimes does not. It's very loose, and so basically, if I want to recline it, I have to get up out of it, go hold the cable a certain way, and press a button until it reclines. Now, this this simply shall not do. I mean, these were $500 a piece recliners, and now one of them is you know, they're broken. You know, they're not even recliners anymore. All I can really use them for is sitting. And then the worst. Now, I didn't lose any consoles. I didn't lose any of my games. 8's TV, fine. 8's computer, fine. He didn't lose a thing. But then they bring my relatively new 70-inch 4K TVs in here. Now, they had charged me over $100 for this special protective box that was supposed to protect this TV from being damaged. They charged me for every TV that I owned, which was 3. And to put them in these special boxes. So they come in and they cut the TV out of the box, and you know, I'm seeing it over the edge of my entertainment center because they were cutting it down. They were cutting it open behind the entertainment center with the plan of just lifting it up and setting it on top of it. Which, by the way, they damaged the entertainment center too. They knocked all the legs loose. So when they got here, before I could even have them put the TV up there, we had to get up underneath it and rehammer the legs in and then rebolt them and in some cases had to make new holes because they completely ripped it out, so those holes were ruined. So we had to basically rebuild the entertainment center. So they picked the TV up, they put it on the entertainment center, and here is right in the middle, bottom middle of the TV, about this tall and about this wide, the screen has been split and pushed out. Like a really strong force was on this side and hit the TV, and it caused the screen to buckle outward like that. Totally destroyed, almost new TV. In total, to save myself $1,200 on moving costs, the end result was I ended up with $3,500 worth of broken and or damaged goods. And they had an insurance policy on it, that they did, but to get the good, really super insurance policy where no matter what it is, you get the full amount of whatever that thing is when it's damaged, that was going to be another, well, you know, $1,200. So it would have defeated the purpose of going with this company to get the discount. So I went with the basic insurance. And the basic insurance is that they give you back 70 cents per every pound of damaged goods. So for example, this TV, if it weighs 100 pounds, then I get $70 for it. For a TV I paid $1,500 for. So all of the things that were damaged, you add them up, and at 70 cents per pound, I'm basically at the most going to get $550 or so back out of $3,500 in damage. So I also found out that this moving company, they don't actually employ their own movers. They have different sub-companies that they go through in different states. And so it's like they hire their own contractors. I found this out because I talked to one of the guys that moved the stuff in, and he was like, oh, I don't work for them. He just has me come on jobs with him when he needs someone, and he pays me some of his cut. So they weren't even real employees of the company. But anyway, the name of the company is Top Rate Moving out of Miami, Florida. No matter what kind of special price they offer you, I highly suggest you never do business with this company. Go through U-Pack, go through U-Haul, use the pods, get the pods online. Do any of that, even two guys in a truck, but don't go through Top Rate Moving out of Miami, Florida, because they don't care about your stuff. I mean, the damage that I incurred with this stuff, it looks intentional. It looks like they ripped the shelves apart, some of it torn in chunks, so there was nothing we could do about that. The TV, it looks like two linebackers ran at it from opposite sides and just smushed it. The washer and dryer looks like it had a boulder dropped on it. It's ridiculous. It looks like they intentionally broke all my shit just to dare me to try to do something about it. That's literally what it looks like. And so here I am. I don't have a TV to watch. I can't recline. Washer and dryer wasn't working. And I couldn't put up most of my game collection because most of my shelves were destroyed. Now what me and Eighth finally did was we took the broken pieces out into the garage and managed to hobble together two more shelves along with these two little ones back here. So out of basically Frankensteining the broken ones together, and then we went and bought some wood glue and some nails and some black duct tape and some backer boards, and hobbled these things together to where they're presentable and they hold the stuff up. But yeah, I ended up with one large shelf unrecoverable, one medium shelf unrecoverable, and one of my small ones was missing altogether. It just simply wasn't on the truck at all. Yeah. So, as stated, I used up pretty much all of the moving money. So there wasn't any saving it for a rainy day, which initially when I planned all this, I was going to have a few hundred left over, but it didn't work out that way. And you know, things being more expensive insofar as the rent, whereas my rent is like twice what my mortgage was, it's going to be a while before I'm able to replace this TV. Now I've got one of my small ones sitting in front of me now on an end table. Oh, and that's another thing. They broke our end tables too. Had to retighten those because they just knocked them to pieces. So I don't know what my video making capacity is going to be for a while. I had planned on meeting up with Billy and Jay at the Retropalooza in Houston this April, but with everything that's been destroyed that I have to repurchase, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it this year. Now, you'll notice that I said at the beginning of the video that that I was washing clothes. And you would notice that I mentioned that a friend who was a fan of the site, fan of the channel, I should say, who's been watching me for a while, had helped me out, Brian. Well, Brian is kind of a jack of all trades, and it turns out that he only lives just a little ways from me. So when he heard about all the stuff that happened, he came over after work one night, and he got my washer and dryer working. He went way above and beyond. He actually went out, I don't know if he went to a Lowe's or what he did, but he purchased parts to fix my washer and dryer and get them working again. So I owe a lot to Brian, and again, thanks Brian, I appreciate it. Anytime you want to come over and hang out, play some games, all you gotta do is call me, you got my number. So here I am, I'm in Austin, Texas, ready to start a new life all over again. Eighth is already back in school, loves his new school. They put him in a computer class, and he ended up being so advanced, they decided he was too advanced for the class, so they transferred him over to a advanced technologies course, and he ended up becoming the teacher's assistant because of how advanced in it he is. So he's got, you know, half a year at this school, and then he's going to be moving up to the high school, and the high school that he's going to be going to is brand new. They just opened it last year, and it's built and works like an actual college campus to get him prepared for college. So he's really excited about that and getting into their technology courses. He wants to take programming and various other things. So he's really excited about the move. He's already made a lot of new friends, and so it's working out great for Eighth, if any of you were curious how Eighth was doing. Me, it's been a little bit more challenging, but I will get there. And again, I don't know when I'll get to an actual regular vid making schedule, because you know I'm kind of short on equipment at this moment, about $3,000 short on equipment at this moment. And at the rate that I make money, unless I earn 88 or 90 hours of overtime in the next 2 months, it's going to take at least 3 to 4 months for me to save up that kind of money to rebuy all this stuff. And that's not even considering how much money that I would need for like hotel and gas and food and, you know, spending money to go to a gaming convention that lasts for 2 days. So I'm kind of in limbo right now, but you know, for all of you guys that have supported me over the years, and all of you guys that watch my stuff, and especially the ones that support me on Patreon, I felt that as long as I've been gone, you deserve to know why I hadn't been on YouTube. So this is the reason why. A lot of changes, and changes are still going on, but soon I hope to have all this settled, and when that happens, I'll give you a whole tour of the place. I'll show you where the games are, where everything is set up and whatnot, and we'll try to get back on a regular schedule from there moving forward. And I'm excited about being closer to new friends, and being closer to a few older friends too, and playing a more active part in the community, especially with the conventions and whatnot. 8-Bit Eric and I have talked about meeting up halfway and towards where he lives and doing something together. So we'll just have to see what happens. I'm open to just about anything, and I'm looking forward to it. But I just wanted everybody to let you know, I'm not dead. I'm just on a new road. But anyway, I hope to see you very soon. Thanks for watching. This is 7th. By the way, I almost forgot. Did you like the new intro? I hope so. It was created by Only Level 1. It's a channel where he has a mission to complete the first level of every original NES cart. And I'm sure when he gets done with that, he's going to move on to the Sega stuff. But it's a fun channel, and he's really good with graphics and making intros and things like that. Really, really good with that kind of stuff. You should check him out. It's Only Level 1. Go sub to him now.